Hello, can you hear? Hello, can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me, please. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, like I was saying earlier, so the masterclass we have today is drones in agriculture, spraying and data collection, which is going to be facilitated by the vision lead of Precision Field Academy and also the convener of the Precision Agriculture Incubation Program, Mr. Femi Adekoya, the Flying Farmer. So before we get started, I quickly want to take us through. So I believe some people who are done with their courses already, because a lot of people have sent the certificate to me for UKCAA, FAA, and also we are still working on the AI in agriculture and the drone deploy courses. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. So for this week, we are working on her part, so we're supposed to have received this by now. So I'm going to share my screen shortly. Alright, so this is the R part from African Drone Analytics Academy. There are two courses you're going to be doing here, the R part and the E-tag. So I'm just trying to show you through their platform. So under courses, come to courses. There are various courses here. Some of the courses here are closed, so we are going to be working with these two courses: Earth Observation Technologies in Agriculture, ETAG, and RPAC, Remotely Piloted Aircraft Technology. So for ETAG, so go through the course description. It's simple. All you just need to do is, once you click on the link, maybe when you click on the link, you might be having issues. It could be as a result of your network. You need to understand this. Maybe you have to try later, because there are a lot of people who have complained to me that the link is not working, and the same link they said is not working is what other people are also using to send their certificate to me. And if the link is not working, how are they going to get the certificate? So you need to understand that maybe the network glitches it's happening at the time you are logging in. So you can just give it maybe like a 30 minutes 1 hour interval. You try the link until it's open, because there's no other link for you to be able to access the course aside from the ones being sent to you. So, and this is directly attached to the course website. So here, for those people, there are two options here. Yes, we have English and French. Based on your country's education, because people in Nigeria likely go for English, although we have some other people join us from other African countries too, in Benin and Cameroon. I think I've seen Gambia too. I think Gambia is English speaking country as well. So just enroll. So you are going to go through here. This is dashboard, the course dashboard, how it looks like, the site, home, calendar, the private files. So it's almost the same thing. This is for Earth Observation Technology Participant Badge. So there you'll be able to navigate this course all through. It's supposed to be thanks for joining us. Upcoming, there's a place to for you to be able to join the course. That's what I'm trying to think. It should be and this is for the French option. So once you click on that link, so it's going to bring you here. So you're going to choose, if you understand French, maybe do it in French language. If your country is classified under the Francophone countries, but for people who understand English, I prefer you go with English for easy. Okay, I'm trying to just show us through how this work for English for this far part 7 enrollment. Just wait for it to load. Think I need to. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, so this is where you are going to log in. You put your email and your password. So once you input your email and your password, you'll be able to have access to the course. So it's just the platform where I'm going to share the link for this particular course, the hard part and the attack soon after this class, so that we can get started. So we have like the ending of next week to be able to complete them, so you have to run it at your pace. One thing about all of this course is that if you're doing it, it's going to require you to sacrifice maybe your sleep. You might need to wake up at the middle of the night, at least just attend to it, and you sleep back and you wake up another day in the morning, continue it and all of that. So you just have to program your mind and prepare yourself for it. So for you to be able to qualify for on-site, all of these things, these courses are required, yes, as a prerequisite too. Aside from that, attendance is also a very key significant factors we are considering. So I'm trying to check for drone deploy. Alright, so this is the Professional Culture Incubation Program, Cohort 3. I just quickly want to go through the profile then while I bring a speaker on board. So the Professional Culture Incubation Program overview. So the PIP, Professional Culture Incubation Program, is a youth-centric digital agriculture capacity building program from the staple of Precision Field Academy, a classic African digital agriculture training school, considering rapid transformation in the global agriculture sector through comprehensive and expository training of youths on the concept of precision agriculture technologies and its application to solve today's pressing challenges emanating the agricultural landscape, to strengthen and stabilize economic prosperity. So, recognizing the transformative potential of precision agriculture, we've discovered that there is a gap that needs to be closed, and this urgent need requires us to equip young emerging farmers, agricultural professionals, and aspiring agripreneurs who fall into the demography of youth with the requisite knowledge and required skill to be able to harness precision agriculture technologies effectively for global opportunities and exploits. So the PAIP cuts across several things. So through this program, participants are empowered to embrace innovation, optimize farm management practices, and contribute to overall advancement of the agricultural sector by creating a local content digital solution. So here are the 7 objectives we have. Number one is to close the knowledge and the skill gap of participants about precision agriculture technologies and practice, to raise next gen agricultural remote pilots. That's number two. Number three is to groom young precision agricultural leaders and stakeholders for global exploit. Number four, we're targeting at building the capacity of youths in the aspect of technology application in agriculture. Five, we want to promote the adoption of innovative and sustainable farming technologies that improve agricultural productivity and resource management. Five, want to foster entrepreneurship. Uh, want to foster entrepreneurship and encourage participants to develop technology-driven solutions for agricultural challenges. Number seven, which is the last on the agenda for the objective, we're looking at creating a network of digitally empowered young agricultural professionals who can drive positive change in the agricultural industry. So we have various courses at Precision Field Academy, both paid, and this is the only program that we have that is free. We have it because considering the cost of the training, the technologies put together, and also we're only using this as a social impact outreach or social impact empowerment for our youths to be able to get informed about precision technologies. However, we have paid courses in phytomapping, the use of drone technology for geospatial in agriculture. We also have trainings that are tailored to licensing. You want to get a certification before you can, because drones are legal, and before you be able to operate them, you need to actually get a license. So we have licensing programs. We have also basic drone training for beginners. So outside the context of the PAIP now. So the PAIP under social empowerment is targeting capacity building, ensuring that youth get accurate knowledge, and they are getting exposed, yes, to emerging technology trends, and they are also preparing themselves and building their professional capabilities and career prospects to be able to remain relevant. Also, we're looking at gender inclusivity, so ensuring that there is a gender balance, encouraging females to be able to leverage digital technologies in agriculture, especially young female farmers to be able to leverage digital technologies agriculture. We are also looking at policy advocacy. The policy advocacy is that when youths are informed like this and they have the opportunity to be in the government or in the past, that they can make better decisions and also contributes to um, like a policy, yes, that could really cause collective development, yes, for everyone. But it begins with the knowing first. So when they are exposed to this technology, they can easily relate and able to shape policies and regulations that will cause a national development. So lastly, we are looking at research and innovation. So the end goal of this program is that you'll be able to leverage your ingenuity, your talent, and your capability at solving problem. It's will involves critical thinking, problem analysis, and also developing solutions that you could develop them as a product that you can actually sell to help farmers solve problems and challenges emanating in the agriculture sector. So this program, the program mode, we have the virtual section and the on-site section. So the virtual section is the online master classes we've been having all this while from our global faculties on various related topics and subject matters. And for the on-site edition is going to be taking place after the virtual master classes are completed. So this is more like a practical approach where you'll be exposed to field experience on how some of this technology works, then how you can use them to, collect data, integrate them into agriculture to be able to farm more efficiently, increase yield, and practice agriculture in a more sustainable way. So the key technologies we are focusing on are drone technology, GIS, and remote sensing. I also talk about artificial intelligence and data science. We're talking about plant density, plant counting. You want to really know the volume size of your crop canopy and all of that. So this is artificial intelligence. And we also have robotics and Internet of Things. We've had a class on Internet of Things, and we are still going to still have a section on that, on the practical approach for robotics. And lastly is personal and enterprise development for hard tech innovators. This is more like understanding the problem in the market, then how can you come in, how can you develop a product that will be market ready, like when you bring it to market people adopt it. And so this is just talking about how young architect innovators can position themselves here, developing a product that is worthwhile and can be leveraged to solve a problem. Okay, so once again, this is just Precision Field Academy. We've been talking about this from the beginning of this class, so I don't really want to go much into the details. We just have a mission that we want to reach the next generation farmers that are tech inclined and digitally savvy. So basically, Precision Field Academy is a social enterprise where we're looking at training and building capacity of youth in modern technology, and most importantly, we want them to lead with precision agriculture. So we are doing this through three core methodologies: education, knowledge sharing, training, skill development, coaching, and mentorship. And our tech skills we target or focus on are listed below: drone, GIS, data science, AI, machine learning, enterprise development, and so on. So why are we doing what we do? Our motivation is that we've discovered from our research that there is a skill gap that needs to be closed if agriculture needs to be more sustainable, and young professionals need to build competence and skill on the aspect of technical enterprise skill, even soft skill, for the future of work in agriculture, because agriculture that is going to feed the world in escalating to about 9 billion plus population, there has to be change of strategy, because using the archaic and traditional method will never be sustainable. So that's just that. So secondly, observing the trend is not enough, sincerely. So youths truly need to be involved in this project, or get themselves involved. They need to become a player, have the mindset of being an enabler, developing the solution, analyzing the problem, and creating solution that is transformational, yeah, to the industry of agriculture. Lastly, technology is a very critical tool that can be unlocked, that can be utilized to unlock the African agricultural potential. So, with technology, we can do more. We can save resources, we can also save cost, and most importantly, farm profitably, increase yield. So why should you join us? The reason why you should join us just so simple. We are creating the future we want in agriculture, and we are calling you to also join the train. So also joining us at Precision Field Academy gives you a leverage to connect you to the world of information and opportunities, which comes in terms of scholarship, internship, and volunteership programs. We have sorts around both local and international scale for your own career growth. Also, we're sharing skill development, and we are doing this through various project collaboration with agri-tech and agribusiness organizations. Also doing community sensitization, university workshops, and interactions in just to create awareness about the technology and also build the capacity. And lastly, you are going to get access to coaching and mentorship from our industry leaders and global faculties around the world. These are professionals doing great and amazing things in their career space. So, at Precision Field Academy, we are building a community of young tech inclined and digitally savvy farmers. Various courses we have on drone technology relating to GIS and subject matter data science, robotics, and all. So for our partners, we have Integrated Area Precision in Nigeria, a drone powered solution company for agriculture. We have Dev Global. Dev Global also focuses on utilizing data to be able to better the planet. We have the DJI Academy, Dev Afrique, International Society for Precision Agriculture, and AAP, that's African Association for Precision Agriculture. All these people, or this organization, I would say, endorses the program, and they are also contributing, giving their thumbs up. Yes. So for the on-site practical, we have 3 universities: Federal University of Technology Abeokuta, that's FUNAB, and we also have River State University, and that's in the eastern part of Nigeria, for Port Harcourt. We have for the northern part, the north central, we have Federal University of Technology Mina, that's FUTMINA. So I have a collaboration already with the Faculty of Agriculture in these schools to be able to mainstream this technology and to be able to ensure that graduates or youths really get informed through this program. So this is the face of our global faculties. We have selected carefully various professionals in their respective fields to be able to deliver the best to us also. All right. Let me quickly bring up. All right. So for today, like I mentioned earlier, we are discussing drones in agriculture, spraying, and data collection. And our facilitator for today is actually the convener of the Precision Agriculture Incubation Program and Division Lead at Precision Field Academy. So let me quickly read to his profile. Okay. Femi Adekoya is an agricultural professional with over 13 years of experience in the field. As a specialist in precision agriculture and drone technology, he is dedicated to providing innovative agri-tech solutions to farmers and advancing digital and precision agriculture across Africa. Femi leads 2 pioneering enterprises in Nigeria. He is the founder of Integrated Area Precision, a drone and data technology service provider for agricultural industry. He also established Precision Field Academy, where it trains and educates professionals on emerging technologies including UAV, GIS, remote sensing, artificial intelligence, and other fourth industrial revolution technologies applied to agriculture. His mission is to promote and drive the adoption of digital precision agriculture in Africa while equipping young professionals with the skills needed for the future of work and technology in agriculture. Femi's dedication and impact have earned him several prestigious awards and recognition. He is a recipient of the Royal African Award in the year 2022 conferred by His Imperial Majesty Oni of Ife Oba Enitan Ogunwusi II. He was also honored with the African Plant Nutrition Institute APNI Precision Agriculture Young Scientist Award in the year 2022, recognizing his outstanding contribution to precision agriculture, education, outreach, and research. Additionally, he is the recipient of the Orange Corner Innovation Funds Award, among others. Beyond his entrepreneurial and academic achievement, Femi holds leadership roles in key agricultural organizations. He serves as country representative for the International Society for Precision Agriculture in Nigeria and sits on the board of African Association for Precision Agriculture (AAPA) at the West Africa and as the West Africa representative. He is also a committee member of the Netherlands Consulate Youth Advisory Committee, focusing on agriculture, and is the co-lead of the World Food Forum Nigeria chapter. As an international thought leader and speaker on innovation and youth inclusion, he has shared insight on renowned platforms such as World Food Forum, the Committee of World Food Security, ICT for Ag, and Africa Food Summit Dakar too, among others. He earned a first-class bachelor's degree in agriculture from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and a master's degree in integrated pest management from Upper Adams University, United Kingdom, through the prestigious Commonwealth Scholarship. Through his expertise and passion, Femi Adekoya is driving Africa towards a more innovative, technology-driven, and sustainable agriculture future. Wow, that's amazing. So, join me, Thomas Pleasure, as I bring up our speaker to. All right, Mr. Femi, I think you have the floor now. If you can hear me, so do have to share screen.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it's good to be on the screen again, and not behind the scene. So today, we're going to be talking about moving further with drones in agriculture, and I'm going to be sort of diving deep into data collection and how we use drones to also spray crops. So please, I am looking forward to having many more of you joining on the call. Please, if you have your friends who are here to join, tell them to come around because it's going to be an amazing time as usual. I believe that you're looking forward to that. So yeah, since I'm gonna give about say 3 minutes, for you to do this. Please share the link on the group, share the link or reshare on LinkedIn. Also, yeah, thank you so much, Mustafa from LinkedIn. I can see also people joining from YouTube. I want to see more people joining the call. As I do that, so I'll be also preparing my screen. I mean my slide for presentation. Okay, let's do this. So I want more people. I want more people joining on the call. We have okay. I'll go ahead. Okay. All right. So, without further ado, thank you so much for sharing. So we just move ahead so we don't waste too much time. Uh, yes. Oh, you can't hear me, but you can hear me now. Um, the skills place. Can you hear me now? I want to believe so. So today, talking about drones in agriculture, uh, focusing on data collection and spraying, right? So yeah, of course, you already know that what we do at Integrated Area Precision, we're providing precision agriculture solutions to African farmers, uh, leveraging drones in agriculture, right? Which includes using drone technology and the power of data analytics, to provide insight and empower them for sustainable agriculture. And these are the things we do, I mean, the services that we provide, and beyond that, we also facilitate the procurement, helping farms to rightly integrate drone technology into their workflow. And without ASO, because leveraging on our years of experience and also core industry expertise across board. So, but it is part of this that we will be sharing with you today. And of course, I think Joseph has really dealt a lot about, again and again, about what we do, our mission, so we don't lose track of why we are here or why we do what we do. So we are building a capacity or your capacity so that you can become leaders in precision agriculture and you can be able to remain relevant for the future of work. All right, so in this lecture, we'll be diving into drone technology and data analytics techniques that are driving innovation in the agricultural sector. So we're going to be talking about the how, we're going to be talking about the why, we're going to be talking about um, yeah, the how and the why. These basic questions are really important. We will explore how these tools can empower farmers to improve food security and contribute to the overall economic growth, their economic growth personally as a organizations, you as agricultural professionals, or perhaps the nation or the continent at large. Now, so let's get started. Pick it. Just to give you a brief of snippets into what I'm going to be talking about today. You might not really understand fully what is happening here, but just have a mental picture of what is happening here. Okay, so I hope you are able to make sense of something there, but this is what we want to talk about today. Just this is I showed this video beforehand, so to give you at least open up your mind and so that we can be able to discuss. So why is when we talk about data collection, so it means that I am building, I want to establish that I'm building on previous lectures. Okay. David Opataibo, an amazing drone professional, he's the founder of Droneros, and he also happens to work, we also happen to work a lot together, right? So he has given a very great explanation, I mean, or exposition about drones, even from to regulatory point of view, what you need to do, what are the things you need to consider, what are the types of drones that we have. I think he was also giving a good definition about drone technology, right? So I am just coming from an application perspective. So I am not coming from just basic introduction to drone technology. I know that David Opatayebo has done justice to this. So if you missed the class, please go back on LinkedIn, right, or on YouTube, the Flying Farmer channel. And if you have not subscribed to, you can receive notifications. Please do well to do that, right? So it's a way of communicating and building community. So that's what we are doing on those channels. So follow us on LinkedIn, on our LinkedIn page at Precision Feed Academy, and also on YouTube, the Flying Farmer channel. So let's talk about why drone data are important. So talking about drones in agriculture, using drones to collect data. So it means that drones here are data collection vehicles. Okay, so and data that we collect, or I say data that we collect with drones can be referred to as drone data. Okay, so no matter how enormous they are. So data collection drones are revolutionizing agriculture. Why? By enabling fast, accurate, and cost-effective farm management. So please note these words. They enable fast, accurate, and anything that is accurate can be reliable, right, and cost-effective farm management. So because they are equipped with high-resolution multispectral or thermal camera, they can monitor crop health, detect disease hotspots or pest hotspots, assess soil conditions, and field terrain and condition across large acreage of land, right? So reducing manual inspection, assessment, and also delivering real-time insight. And because of this, it drives precision agriculture. I think in my first class, I believe I dealt exhaustively around the concept of precision agriculture, right? So, and you already understand what precision agriculture simply means. So, in other words, or in a simple layman language, precision agriculture simply means, you applying a concept of farming where you apply the right thing at the right location at the right time in the right intensity, right, at the right quantity also. So that is precision agriculture. But I explained that precision agriculture involves us gathering or collecting data, processing it, analyzing it, and sort of classifying the variability so that we can be able to make good management decisions that will drive towards sustainability, profitability, better productivity, and environmental protection. So let's come back to drone data or drones in agriculture. So using drones data, it drives precision agriculture because you are able to collect reliable data. You're able to collect data around the variability on the field, such as from soil and all that. So you are applying inputs like water, fertilizer, pesticide only where it is needed, lowering the cost and boosting yield. So drones also generate maps that you can use, for irrigation, planning, scheduling, and all that, drainage plan, and all that for your planting or supplying, while providing record and also providing record useful for insurance and compliance sake. So insurance and compliance, I think I need to talk about this. If we don't, in this part of the world, we don't really have too much of that, right? But I believe as agricultural professionals, looking at different niche to actually get yourself into, right, to build your career. I think agricultural insurance is also good, and I believe that drone data will be a veritable tool in your hands, to be able to deliver insurance services to our farmers. Insurance is a way of protecting farmers' livelihood. You know, weather pattern, disaster can strike, and all that. So it is not something new in the agricultural sector, and this is where we need why and where we need agricultural insurance. So drone technology can be a tool in your hand to be able to generate data, get reliable records, to provide insurance claims and protection to farmers. And also talking about compliance. Compliance, we're now moving towards a more food safety conscious environment, in terms of food safety, in terms of certifications of your farm. If many of you have heard about the EUDR, that's the EU deforestation bill, right? Regulation. Yeah. So that's, I think, if you now get into cocoa farm or cocoa farmers or cocoa aggregators, they begin to this is the hot topic now, and it's all around compliance about deforestation. So don't go ahead to, the EU is not encouraging deforestation, so they are not ready to buy, you know, cocoa beans that have been grown in deforested environment, I think for the past 5 years or so, right? From 2020, right? So so how do you ensure, prove that you are compliant to this? You can be able to use drone data, right? To be able to prove that you are not contributing to deforestation, which then also leads to climate change, right? So because if we don't have vegetation or carbon sink, we are releasing, we're destroying our trees. It means that we are contributing to the climate change. So overall, this is helping farmers to make smarter and data-driven decisions. Now, drone data collection drones, which I would explain, are increasingly used in agriculture because they provide efficient, like I said, accurate and real-time insight that helps farmers make better decisions. So you want to be able to collect data, not because you want to collect data for data collection sake, right? I know that talking and saying you're a data analyst, data this, data that is one of the, do I want to use the Gen Z balance, a sexy words to tell people around now, right? But it's data collection is not just about collecting data, right? It's towards an end. So you have to have the end in sight. And what's the end in sight? So that you can be able to make better decision and take actions that are sustainable, actions that are value driven, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to get something out of the decisions that you are making. I'll move forward. So, talking about data in agriculture. So, we have different data sources from satellite imagery, from IoT, weather data, a lot of data, right? So, plenty. And drones. Drones, like I mentioned the other time, that drones are data collection vehicles. Consider them as vehicles, right? So, that's because they carry data collection devices, which we call sensors, right? So, to be able to give us data. And we have different data types. Please note this. We have spatial, talking about location, talking about where. This is the data that answers to where, So that's why we introduced you earlier to a couple of sections around GIS and geospatial applications in agriculture. Thanks to Matt Alas, thanks to Siamos, thanks to Dr. Suranta, right? They did a good job introducing us to, just spatial technology, drones for remote sensing and all that, right? So we talk about types of data, which is spatial data. So spatial data relating to location, a question of where, right? Spectral data relating to uh, colors or reflectance, right? This is a way we are able to access the property. I don't want to go back into remote sensing because we have dealt with remote sensing already and the basis of remote sensing from these classes that I have mentioned, especially Dr. Suranta's class. It did a comprehensive, job on. Guys, please, just a minute. I need to attend to something.
You know, my idea was a spam.
I need to attend to the guys there. I apologize. I have to quickly attend to this errand. Sorry, which of the screen is sharing? Okay, it's still on the other slide, right? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I thank you for your patience. So, talking about spectral data relating to the reflectance of, let's take plant, for example. Every surface have a way of reacting to light. For example, your basic physics, explains to us or review to us that light surface does what to light to light. I mean, white surface, let's say white surface, does what to light? It reflects, right? And dark surface, or black clothes, right, absorbs light. So yeah, so and we are using this to be able to sort of access or assess the property or observe the property of a certain material to light. Okay, and that relates to remote sensing. So this is something around spectral imaging, and it's then related into colors, the intensity of the color, and all of this. This is where NDVI and all of this comes in, or vegetation indices comes in. We also talk about temporal data types. Temporal here means time. So yeah, this is, you see pictures just below here. So this is a typical workflow for drone, right? Yeah, collecting data with a drone, data and GIS platform. That's the geographic information system. So how it all, knit together. So we first fly and capture with drones, and then we are able to host the capture we have, whatever image that we're able to collect, be it different images, we are stitching them together, and we are also able to analyze. And then if you want to go ahead to spray, I mean, which I'm going to explain better. So from flight, capture to collect data, then the data collected, which are the images, you are able to stitch them together. The next slide, I'm going to show you a video from Joniada, that gives you a visual understanding about the process, so you can be able to understand how we use drones to collect data, take it on a platform to stitch them or process this data together. Then we analyze to be able to get vegetation indices and all of this in relating to spectral information. And the information that we are able to get, that spectral information, we then turn it into data that is able to guide our agricultural drone in spraying, where to spray in, talking about precision agriculture, or how to guiding them in terms of flight paths, right? So yeah, these are ways we use them. Okay, so talking about types of drones in agriculture, I think I've mentioned this before. We have the sensor drones, which I've been referring to as data collection drones. Okay, they are sensor drones because they have sensors with them. We also have the application drones, which is an example of the agricultural drone for spraying and for spreading. Okay, so please look to this video very well. You see it, just watch it again. I'm going to play it 2 times. So this is the drone flying and collecting data. So all of these footprint means that the drone is taking images. As you can see from the left side of the view of the panel, these are the images that the drone is taking. So this is the drone flying. Now it's coming back home. Like, let's imagine that the drone is landed, and then we take all of the whole images that we have collected on the drone, we put it on a platform called photogrammetric platform, and then you can see something rolling, right? It's now stitching all of the whole images together. Okay, we have uploaded it, Now, what it's doing now is you're trying to pull all of the puzzles together so that you can be able to form a whole spreadsheet different from hundreds of images that have been collected. Now, can you see what you have now? Right? So can you have a mental picture of the process or the workflow? I'm going to play this again. Okay, can you make sense of this? So this is a drone in the air taking pictures at different intervals, be it time or distance interval. And when it's done, all of these pictures, right, will be uploaded or sort of submitted to the photogrammetry software. You can also do it on your Python if you know the code to be able to stitch all of this together, Python or R, right? These are actually basic softwares, that can actually do this. So, but this is an example of a software, sort of making things easy. So this is teaching or processing stuff together. You can see that. So this is stopping as teaching, right? So we can then go ahead to analyze from this data. For example, I can go ahead to, so for example, there's a pond here, right? You can see a pond here, right? I can be able to then say, I want to know the size of this pond without necessarily going down to the pond, I'm using my tape rule and all that to measure it out. So we can also go ahead to know, okay, let's analyze this better. What's the vegetation health, right? Or perhaps we want to apply artificial intelligence, to be able to count the number of trees, know the sizes of the canopy, or we want to also know the terrain of the land. This is part of the analysis that we are talking about. We want to know the terrain form of the land. We can be able to do this. Terrain relates to contour or elevation maps and all that. We are going to share more in detail soon. Now, relating to data acquisition with drones, let's talk about the sensor types. So I mentioned that there is what we call sensor drones, or these are data collection drones. Okay, because drones without a payload like the sensor, right, it becomes more like a flying object. It's just a basic flying object, right? Because it becomes another kite. Because if it does not have this sensor, because it is a sensor that defines the functionality of a drone. Maybe you have any other plans for your flying object, right? Maybe you just like it to be blowing you breeze with the propeller, right? And it has no payload, be it sensor, tank or whatever, or the spraying system or the spraying system. So it becomes just a flying object and a dignified flying object. All right. So yeah. So we have these classes of sensors, and I also witnessed when David Opataibo was also explaining the sensors to you, and he has also done a good job. So I'm not going to so much talk about these sensors in great detail, but we are going to see the application of these sensors. So we have the RGB. As you can see, the RGB was the one that we saw the last one. So the RGB is just like your normal phone, like this, right? What you use for your camera to take pictures. That is RGB, right? The RGB camera, a composite of it, right? Seen in the electromagnetic spectrum. So particularly the composite of the RGB. This is a sensor that can capture that information. So we also have multispectral. Many of you might have heard of multispectral sensors, right? So the multispectral sensor gives us way beyond what RGB can give to us, or the RGB composite. So it gives to us most especially near infrared, or which you call NIR. It could also give you information on the red edge, right? So these are much more information, or in the band of electromagnetic spectrum, right? So we can be able to capture data in single bands. Now, we also have hyperspectral. So hyperspectral gives us information in great detail because they are able to collect data not just in specific bands, just like multispectral. These are able to collect data in arrays of band, just like a continuum, because the electromagnetic spectrum is a continuum, right? So they are able to collect like a chunk of the information, how our plants or water or soil is reflecting back, right? And it, because it is, the hyperspectra is really detailed, right? It's more like the multispectral on steroid, is able to give us way more. Scientists use it, right? You find it in the realm of research and development, for disease detection, for archaeological exploit or whatever assessment, because it's able to give more detailed information, right? So that is hyperspectral for you. We also have the thermal. The thermal is also used, thermal means temperature, relating to temperature, right? So you are able to use the sensor to collect information around temperature. So I have used the thermal sensor in solar farms, right? For photovoltaic assessment, also using these thermal sensors, to know the health of plants, because you can relate the temperature of, or sorry, the health of an animal or livestock. You can relate the temperature signature of an animal, right, to the health, right? So you can correlate them together and be able to know, is there something wrong with this animal or not? So it is important. That's one of the ways we use the thermal sensor. Talking about the lidar, LiDAR gives us information in 3D, as to distance, as to canopy density. Let's imagine a big mango tree, and you want to be able to sort of quantify how big it is. You want to know the carbon sink. This is something that you can be able to use to do that assessment, because it gives you information in 3D, gives you biomass, be it your pasture, be it your plant on the field, whatever, right? It goes beyond just plant, but you can also use it to sort of get information or create 3D information around a city, a village, a mountain, just like what you can see there in terms of height and all of that information, topographic information. So you have that. So let's move forward. And these are some of the insights that we generate, right? After analyzing and all that, we're able to get, information around crop or soil health, information around elevation map, information around plant density, and plant counting, and prescription map. So prescription map, we are able to you remember when I mentioned variability? So you are able to group the variability of the field just as you want it, and you are then applying based on this variability that is homogenized, right? You then want to apply a prescription, right, to what you have analyzed, and that's why we are able to have prescription map from the name. It's prescribing. So from the variability that we have, so I'm prescribing that in this location or at the middle of the field, we should give 20 or 50 kg per hectare. And at the end of the field, that looks way healthier. We don't need much fertilizer because the soil is, good, or let's give 10 kg or no at all, depending on your agronomic or farm management decision. So you can be able to do this. So you're also able to get plant counting. So we're going to go into applications more deeply. This is just to show you sort of an overview of what you can get, the deliverables and the insight from drone data. Yeah, how drones and data analytics can address agricultural challenges. But before I go there, of course, we are in the age of AI. So talking about analysis, definitely analyzing data set, it's a function of intelligence. You want to be able to get recommendations out of data set is a function of intelligence. You want to be able to recognize patterns, right? Is a function of intelligence, be it human intelligence, and you are looking at it like, from the data I'm seeing here or from the map, I can be able to see something like this. Even if it is not written on the map or it is not written in the data set, right? You are able to make sense out of that. And that's because you have intelligence, right? So, and this is where artificial intelligence then comes in. And thanks to Dr. Marina, who taught us through artificial intelligence in took us through artificial intelligence in agriculture. So I believe you enjoyed that class. Yeah, it was really great. It was really great. I've not been able to, reach out to her fully, but my shout out to her. Thank you so much. So she's dealt with how what is artificial intelligence and all that. So artificial intelligence can also be applied into on drone data, right? So that we can be able to mine insight, recognize patterns, are able to get adequate, use that insight to provide advisory services to farmers, or farmers themselves are able to get quality recommendations that empowers them to make informed decisions and take sustainable actions, for better profits or productivity. Right. So, so artificial intelligence is transforming agriculture by rapidly analyzing drone data to deliver insights like plant counting, um, field boundary delineation, crop health mapping, yield prediction, and so on and so forth, uh, enabling farmers to make precise, timely, and data-driven decisions for improved productivity and sustainability. So we're in a world of sustainability. You have to always talk about and relate things to sustainability. So, but drones are helping us to do that. Now, in terms of application, so I've mentioned crop counting or plant counting and phenotyping. So if you are into breeding, crop breeding, and as Dr. Marina has explained, using artificial intelligence in cassava breeding and all that. So for breeding, you are going to be talking about phenotyping. Phenotyping simply means you are accessing you're assessing plant characteristics or traits. Okay, you are trying to sort of know the height. You want to know the color of flowers. Whatever trait you want to actually assess. That is phenotyping, from the idea of phenotype, right? Phenotype is a physical expression of plant. It's not genetic. It's not something inside, right? But it's the physical expression of the genetic trait of the plant. So we can also be able to use drones as data collection vehicles to access, plant characteristics or traits. So using drone data, as you can see, this is a drone data here. As you can see from aerial image, we are able to sort of know the size of the canopy of trees. Let's assume that this is a orange tree planted, in arranged well. So we can be able to know, okay, what's the size of the canopy, what's the size of the oil palm, and you can be able to use the size sort of to gauge the age of the oil palm. Or perhaps if it is out of range, it means that something is wrong, with the oil palm, or with what's wrong with the tree, right? Relating it. And you're able to get granular details like this, classifying into different sizes. If you look at this, there is a bounding, there is a circle bounding the tree canopy, right here. So we've been able to train the data set. You can be able to see that even the circle that is bounding the tree is not even capturing the shade, or the shadow rather. You can see. So intelligently, you have been able to apply artificial intelligence into the mix, right? On or with the drone data, sort of to be able to, measure out, okay, what is the size of this tree? Okay, it is 2.5 meter. Okay, so every tree that falls between 2.5 meter to 3, I want you to code it as red. How many of these trees exist on my plant, or my farm, or in my plantation? You are able to know this without, going climbing tree, or without, trying to get ladder. And if you are an agricultural student, doing your project can be really alkaline, particularly those who are in crop science. I passed through this. I worked on cashew in my undergraduate. It wasn't big, but even as small seedling, bending and mounting, all of these things can be really back breaking. So, but we have drones, making things easier for us. And I believe this is the kind of agriculture that you will be advocating for, and you'll be looking forward to doing. So, we are able to also use this information to sort of estimate the yield, right? Just imagine that this is a cabbage farm, right? And all of these plants here are garbage. You are able to size up your garbage before you even lift it off the soil, and you are able to use that information to go to the market. You can be able to get a yield estimate of what you have and get even the categorization of the heads of your garbage or cabbage that you have, and you're able to tell the marketer, you are not under pressure. You are sipping coffee, or you are drinking chocolate, or you are taking juice, and you are negotiating. You're not negotiating under pressure because you have already harvested. But this one, you have not harvested. Your plants are still fine. You have a good amount of time before you can close the, or before you harvest. Let's say your harvest is coming up in the next 3 weeks or in the next 2 weeks, right? You are not under pressure as person who have already harvested, right? And it's trying to, like, this thing must go, else it's going to, the shelf value is going to reduce, or I'm going to have overhead costs on storage and all of these things, right? So these are ways that we can be able to have data-driven insights. So this is one, inventory management. So it's classified as inventory management, or whatever way you want to call it. So feed mapping. So you can also be able to create detailed feed map, where farmers can be able to identify the kind of soil, the kind of crop health, water stress, delineation, and all that. This is also another application. Another application involves damage assessment. So if there is a fire outbreak, maybe you're a forester and there is wildfire in a forest or in a game reserve, whatever, right? The first thing you want to do, you want to quantify after stopping the fire, right? If it stops, it's not really the warning that happens recently in the US. It was just continuing. But even if it is doing that, you can be able to use drones, like to sort of collect data to track the rate of movement, or perhaps the level of damage that has occurred, right, in the field, right? So, and you are able to sort of know what intervention to take, where, what seedlings, what's the quantity of seedlings to get, so that you can be able to take afforestation measures, right? So, and all of this will be important for you. Or perhaps there is disease outbreak, and you want to sort of quantify this damage. Or perhaps you have greenhouses, right, and wind sort of destroy some of the houses, right? Out of the hundreds that you have, you can be able to use drone data, map the place, and then be able to identify, okay, this house, this is the level of damage and all that happened here. And this relates to insurance, right? If you're also interested in insurance, either claiming insurance or providing insurance cover, I believe that this will be a transparent, tool, like a data information or record, to present to make a claim, or to perhaps to honor a claim, right? So this will be important for insurance provision on your field. Feed boundary, there's feed boundary. So with drone data now, we are able to, for either for research, either for production on large scale feeds, we are able to automatically detect field, with various platforms, enablement of drone data and artificial intelligence with automatic delineation. So, and of course, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So, if you do not know your feed boundary accurately, how do you want to sort of manage the field very optimally? So, this is where it is really important, and all that. Terrain analysis, I've also mentioned. You as a farmer, for example, terrain analysis becomes very important when you are talking about irrigation or drainage, right? You want to be able to know, you are planning a rice farm, okay, and you are looking at doing furrow irrigation, or you are trying to do flood, trying to leverage the terrain, with gravity, right? You want to be able to sort of map the place, or you want to level up the farm, or you are into fishery and you want to do big ponds, large acreage of land, and you want to plan out how the water moves and water comes in. All of these things are important. You need to do terrain analysis, right? What's the terrain like? What's the topography? What's the elevation, or the kind of the slope? How slope is the land? Even if you want to do cut and fill, I mean, some leveling. Civil engineers will understand what I just said. So all of this, you then need terrain analysis. Drone data is also here for you to provide you that. So terrain analysis, you can use LiDAR, you can use RGB, to be able to understand this. You want to create contour maps, you want to create digital terrain models, and all of this. Yeah, this is just a mock-up of how we use drones, and you can look into the words that we created there. You can scout more feed, capture more data with lens, such as the DJI Mavic 3 multispectral, for example. So there are other multispectral sensors or drones integration that you can also use, right? I'll move forward. So at the end of the day, this is very important that you are not doing agriculture of guesswork. You're not guessing, but you want to do agriculture that you are precise. You want to be able to move with precision. You want to, like, oh, you're not confused, you are not disturbed, but you have data that guides you, and guides the decisions that you make. So it's important. I mentioned thermal sensor the other time. You can also use thermal sensor to assess irrigation information, and also set irrigation schedules, animal health, soil moisture, and all of these. You can be able to use that. Crop health monitoring. I think I've already stressed that, how we can use drones, particularly the multispectral sensor, hyperspectral sensor, collecting the data, and we process and analyze the data to sort of reveal to us where there are pest hotspots, where there are nutrient deficiency on the field, where there are a lot of things. So, or anomaly on the field generally. So you can be able to do that, and that relates to crop health monitoring. So we check this out. If that's working over there. Um, give you like a feel, right, of how we use drones. You can see, you see the coloration. That coloration relates to health monitoring and scouting operation. So where, depending on the color coding, I would say that the red portion, right, could be plant or soil, but giving you that understanding of, okay, where to go. You've been able to, through the legend, you really, okay, I'm going to this place because what is wrong in this area. You're able to catch that up with drones. If it is flooded, you are able to know easily where it is flooded, where you need to drain water, and all that. So I'm just going to talk about agricultural sprayer drones, because we also mentioned spraying in today's class. So the agricultural sprayer drones, which is an actuation drone, right, is different from the sensor drones. Okay, although the agricultural drone have sensors, but not sensors to sort of help us with some of the things I mentioned earlier. So sensors like obstacle detection, and David Opatayebo has really done well in explaining this to us yesterday. So I'm going to move on with the purpose of this agricultural drone, or what they are. They're specifically designed to apply liquid or apply spread granular material. So these are agricultural drones, or you can call them agricultural drones, for spraying, for spreading, and for seeding, right? So you can be able to use them. They are equipped with that, you know, agrochemicals or agro inputs, be it organic or inorganic, pesticide, herbicide. You can be able to use them to apply. So look at this video. You can see this is just similar to what we saw the other time with drones. It's similar to what we saw with drones capturing data. But in this one, this is not capturing data, because this is just an autonomous flight plan. If you look at this, right? So if you want to map this field, right, look at that line, and so you can see a small stuff moving over here, right? So that's the agricultural drone spraying over the field, following a flight path, right? So, and as it's following that flight path, it is spraying. And if you look closely, you will see that where it is sprayed, it turns to green, and where it is not yet sprayed, it's still in yellow, right? So that's the way it works, right? So this is to give you sort of an understanding of how it works. Okay, you can see that So that's the agricultural drone, like the DJI. This is the DJI Agras T40, by the way. So you can see, so gliding through the field. So I'm moving forward. So yeah, this is a drone that holds a tank for liquid or for granular application. So you can see this tank, this one here, the payload. This is a payload. I need to say it, not this tank is called a payload. So this is the payload. This is the spreader, and this you can see this tank here. We are trying to put water inside this agricultural drone, right? So this is holding a liquid, and this would hold a granular material. So these are two payloads that you can be able to swap on a versatile drone like the Agras drones, like the DJI Agras drones. So yeah, I'm pro DJI because I use DJI. My team use DJI. We train and we help people procure agricultural drone as quality and as reliable as the DJI drone. So, but let's talk about agricultural drones generally. So there are a lot of them. So they are also equipped with spraying nozzles, or what we call the spraying system. The spraying nozzle, spreading system is the payload that you fit on the agricultural drone. So yeah, so the agricultural drone that we have now also can map, right? It can map for its own purpose, right? It can map for its own purpose as I speak to you now, right? I'm looking forward to a time where the agricultural drones can also be able to be fitted with, say, multispectral, right? And we have all in one platform, right? But there will be some limitations and trade-offs, right? So, but we hope that the future of the technology is propitious, right? So, but the agricultural drone purpose is for spraying, spreading, seeding, right? Or you can call it broadcasting. So they are fitted with GPS, or which I would say GNSS. I've explained that earlier. GNSS for navigation system, for flight accuracy, and also they can also have camera on board for situational awareness. So yeah, so you can see, talking about spreading, you can see this is an agricultural drone used for spreading. This is spreading a granular material which looks like a urea. So spraying over here and spraying, to control maybe locust or fall armyworm and so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's what we do with the agricultural drone, and they are good, for precision agriculture application, assessing how to reach places, on the field where it is waterlogged, where it is where your tractors cannot climb. Imagine you have planted your orchard on a terrain, on a steepy terrain, right? Agricultural drones can help you do the spraying and the spreading. They are fast and efficient, can help cover a large area of land within a few minutes or a fraction of time. Autonomous, right? You've already seen what autonomous operation means. So just look at this screen, right? And you can see how we plan out the field for agricultural drone. And it also reduces or eliminates chemical exposure, so you are not back in a knapsack, you are spraying, you are baptizing yourself. Wind is, spraying what you are, extending what you are spraying to yourself, or on or away from the target. So it's exposure to yourself as operator would really be reduced with the agricultural drone. So I'm coming. So yeah, I will stop here for questions. So yeah, guys, let me have questions. Yeah, okay. There are questions here already. I am going to be attending to them. Okay. There's one. Can you give an estimate cost of acquiring a DJI spraying drone? An estimate. So there are different models of the DJI agricultural drone, or which you call spraying drone. There are different models. So the model that you have would determine how much. So and the currency. So you can write to Precision Feed Academy. This is not a place where I can be sharing information like this, but I think you should write to us at sales@iaprecision.com. So we are able to give you comprehensive information. So like I said, we have drones of capacity of 8 liter and 10 kg capacity, drones of 20 liter and 25 kg capacity. 40 liters and 50 kg capacity. So you are able to, depending on what you are looking for, we have to also ask you some questions to know what kind of agricultural drone fit your purpose or fit your farm operation, right? And so not just throwing out a number. So there are different drones for you, depending on your need, depending on your budget, depending on your capability. So yeah, but how do I say it? Yeah, so please reach out to us for details. It's really important to do that. What other questions do we have? Please let me put it up on screen. Oh, yes, yeah, he said that drone is a big boy. He's a big boy. Because okay, how many milliliters can it take? I think I've answered that question, Peter. I mentioned that we have different agricultural drones for spraying. Depending on the one you have, they have as low as 5 liters. There is 8 liters. I know of 8 liters, right? And I have used 8 liters, 8 liters, and 10 kg capacity drone. So when I use 8 liters and I use 10 kg, liters and kg, it simply relates to spraying in terms of liter and liquid, right? And also kg relating to granular materials, which is weight often. So yeah, I said those. I want questions around the data collections, right? So does rotor size determine, okay, a drone payload or weight it could carry? Technically, yes. Yes, Scarlett Michael. Technically, yes. The size of the rotor and the size of the propeller would influence the weight. The size, the type of the propeller would influence the weight or the payload that an agricultural drone or a drone generally can carry, right? So the M300 or the M350 RTK, there is M400 now, so which can also carry, I think, about 3 kg. I am not so sure, but I know it can actually carry more than 3 kg or 3 kg capacity. Right? I mean, kg in this sense of payload would mean your sensors. So you can actually put multiple sensors on it and can be able, you can use it at once on one flight. You can put a speaker, you can put a spotlight, you can put a lidar sensor. I mean, as it is right now, they are even getting smarter. I mean, in terms of size or portable, but they are still bulky. So yeah, these drones can carry. So does the rule of spraying against the wind applies? Yes, it does. Yeah, this is actually what we do with our course on agricultural drone. So it's comprehensive, it's professional. These are the things you need to know. Yeah, you are right. In fact, you have to, one of the rules that you need to know as agricultural drone pilot is you have to stay upwind. I mean, so if the wind is blowing this way towards my direction, it means that I have to stand opposite the direction of the wind, right? So it doesn't blow to you, right? So, and it's, you are able to contain what you're spraying in the field, right? So yeah, you're right, it does. What are the major challenges faced when using this agricultural drone? Major challenges, a lot of them. Challenges, maybe from operational perspective, your risk assessment, although they are also water and dust resistance. I mean, the ones that we use and the one I mentioned, the DG agricultural drone, right? You do not, I mean, there's no need for you to actually use them or spray with them when it is raining, right? So, yeah, it could be a challenge around regulatory limit as to where to fly and how to fly. Challenge could also be from the technical perspective in terms of the integrity of your aircraft. So what kind of drones are you flying? What kind of agricultural drone? You also need to know, the capability of the brand that you are flying. And trust me, yeah, this looks like marketing, but I can tell you any day, TJ agricultural drones or Hagras drones are always reliable. So there are a lot of Chinese Chinese drones out there. Yeah, I mean other Chinese drones out there that might disappoint, right? I have used several, and I have a good experience when it comes to this. Good question. Next question. In the case of post-emergence herbicide application for cassava, is a drone programmed to avoid premature crops? This question needs some context. So I'm going to address it this way. So, premature crops. Drones would spray just like a rain is falling from the sky. So it is then you who would then say, or you want to create a prescription map to say, oh, don't spray this area, don't spray that area. And also it will also determine dependent on the resolution of this prescription that you are doing, right? Even drones itself also has limitation in the resolution of, I mean, in terms of application, right? So you will not say a drone should only apply herbicide or insecticide to uh, a zone, or yeah, a zone of 0.5 meter. That would work because the swat width of the drone itself is as large as 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 meters, right? So, and also thanks to drift, it could be larger. So you also need, so when we do resolution in terms of zonation for drones, we do as high as say 5, 10 meters, right? So in terms of your variable rate application of prescription map. But I'm not sure I get you. But if it is relating to trying to dodge plants, or like don't, you want to spray glyphosate and you are trying to compare drones that is spraying like rain from the sky with a knapsack, that you carry your knapsack and you are inside the cassava field and you are dodging yourself, right? I don't think that will work, right? That won't work, except you are sort of using a selective herbicide, in that case, that is touching the cassava and is leaving it and is dealing with the weeds, right? So yeah, so there are nuances to this, and this comes with training. This is where training is important. Well, lucky enough, if any of you get into the on-site training, which I need to emphasize now, the on-site training, we only have limited slot of 100 people across 3 locations, less than 100 people across 3 locations. So it's going to be really tough. And guess what? It's going to be really tough again. So put your best foot forward, mark your attendance, ensure that you are ensure that you are attending to all of the independent courses, because we are going to ask you at the end of the day to submit the course, the certificate that you have, or a proof that you have gone through the courses. And yeah, and hopefully you are able to get in. So, but I'm promising that this is one of the questions or activities that we'll be training participants on. Yeah. What's the next question? In situations where tree canopies overlap, can a drone sensor accurately distinguish and count individual trees? Yes, it's a good question. Yeah, thank you so much, Ifeanyi Ogu. So, how do I answer your question? So the drone is just to collect the data. Okay, the drone sensor is not necessarily the one, sort of delineating which one is which plant or which one is not which plant. This is done after you have processed the data. What the drone does, or the drone sensor does, is to help you collect the data, right? So applying artificial intelligence um, or intelligence, like human intelligence, you yourself, you can be able to look at the image and say, oh, these are 2 plants here, right? And if you can be able to see these are 2 plants here, you can be able to train your model, right, to be able to recognize this pattern, right? And that's what we do, right? So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, Gideon, how you doing? Nice to hear from you too. In the case of exploring autonomous application, do we first deploy data collection drone, then do the mapping and homogenize with applicator? Intelligent question, thank you. So I would explain again. In case of autonomous operation or application, Autonomous here means that the drone is set on a self mission, like self-driven mission, autonomous, right? So yeah, what you are trying to do, yes, in cases of you are trying to spray in an orchard or you want to do spot spraying, it will be first important for you to first use the drone to map the field. Map the field means you are collecting data, right? You are collecting data of the field. Then the data you are collecting data relating to, aside from visual images, right, which relate to the spectral. You want to know, okay, where are the trees? You also want to collect data as regards the topography, right? You want to collect the data as regards where the location of each trees, right? Those are the those are the data you are able to collect with drones in respect to spot spraying or perhaps terrain planning or 3D flight planning. So you are supposed to sort of map out, do a proper data collection first. Then with your applicator, right? You can, which we, you say applicator, I would say the agricultural drone for spraying. You are able to then take the data, right, that you have sort of analyzed, and you take that maybe a 3D flight path. You have created a 3D flight path after processing the data of the mapping. Then you can be able to insert that as a data or as an input, sorry, and as an input into your agricultural drone to guide your agricultural drone autonomously to know, okay, when I get to this place, this is the height I must go, over this tree. It knows automatically, right? It goes, it can be able to glide over, the variability in terms of height or perhaps in or the terrain of the field. Or is going to say, okay, when I get to this spot of this tree, I'm going to stand and I'm going to spray. Okay, when I move, I don't spray until I get to the next tree. That information, that activity is guided by an input which you already collected the data. So I think that's a good question. Thank you so much. Do we still have further questions? Joseph, do we still have a question? Okay. Scarlett asks, can these sensors predict species if there are no phenotypical differences in the tree, but in the fruit? Okay, okay. Okay, like I said, it is not sensors that predict, please. Just like your height. Your eyes sees, but your eyes does not necessarily tell you this is a laptop or this is a phone. Your eyes is just is for seeing. It's your brain. That's why your eyes is connected to your brain, the place of your intelligence, right? So please, I need us to get this very rightly. So if you don't take anything away from my class, I want you to be able to know what a sensor does. It collects data. It's to sense, just like your skin. Your skin is sensing. And because my skin is attached, through nervous system that is sent to my brain, I'm able to feel, right? A hair. But the skin is an organ that help me to sense. And as I am doing that, it's sending the cue or the data to my brain, right? My ears is a sensor. We have hair. We have 5 senses. We already know that in biology. So I need to clarify this. Now to the question on very, very intelligent question. Except, so what I would say is, if you can fly your drones such that you are able to see the guava, the fruits, right? Hair, you can then, what you can see is what you can, just like our eyes, right? So if I cannot see that, if I cannot see the tree, the fruit on the tree, how will I know that this is the difference, right? Just the same way with drones too. Whatever structure we want to put together, we can only that's why we call it artificial intelligence. We can only mimic our own intelligence, right? Although in a way, artificial intelligence could be faster, could be more efficient or complex than us. But I haven't seen, maybe please correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen the idea of artificial intelligence that humans are not doing already in a way. many of our inventions are actually copied from something. You see the idea from somewhere and you do it. So in this case, I would say that if you are able to fly the drone and you are able to see clearly all of the fruits, then you process that data, analyze it, and then you are able to predict, what the phenotypic difference is from what you already said, mentioned. So yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I think that's a good question. Thank you so much. I'm happy for hearing that. So how do we? Okay, so this question says, how do we interpret? It's okay. So it says, how do we interpret um, color codes detected by the sensor for data analysis? It's okay. It's okay. For data analysis, um, how do we interpret? It's okay. So how do we interpret? How we interpret is one through your expertise, your knowledge, right? That's basic. You want to, how do I explain this? So if you see a data want from your expertise, you can be able to see, this is a trend, right? And what does this trend mean? What if I see this? What does it mean, right? So that's the way you interpret, right? So the color coding from say our maps and all after all of this analysis, you yourself, or perhaps that's why we have a legend. So take for example when I was showing, let me see, let me go to, let me see. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. So this is just visualization. In my previous class on precision agriculture, I talked about visualization on platform. So look at this. So we have red, we have blue, yeah, we have yellow. So I have coded these colors to say between this range to this range, how many plants are there. So you are going to have legends to, if you are not the one who actually interpret data, a proper map should have a legend that you can be able to use to interpret, right? When you then interpret, you are able to sort of get some recognition. You're able to then talk, get better insight or based on your expertise and awareness level. So yes, that's the way we do this. Does that make sense? Um, okay, let's go ahead. Shama, well done. Let's go ahead with the next question. Ibrahim asks, it says, can data from drone be simplified into easy to understand advice for farmers who are not tech savvy? Yes, that's the short answer. So you, as the expert, or you as somebody who is informed, you can be able to sort of distill. One thing that I do tell my team, and we know, is at Integrated Area Precision, where we provide services of drone technology, is we are not just the one of the jacks that knows how to fly drone. No, we have professional agricultural experts or professionals who is able to use drone technology as a tool in our hands, right? To collect data, analyze the data, and interpret the data in a way that farmers can be able to relate to. You will agree with me as I'm explaining to you. You are able to relate with what I'm saying, right? Right. And that's because I have a domain knowledge and I'm able to sort of use that domain knowledge, distill it down in a way that you can be able to understand. I think that way we are able to. So it's not just about, good question here. So it's just about us having beautiful maps and I look at it. That doesn't make sense. So even what you can see on the screen is not even enough for anybody to know what I'm saying. I need to write about it or I need to talk about it and say, okay, this color, this is what it means. Okay. And I break it down to like, okay, it's simple. Farmers are able to understand this thing. They are not dull. They are not dull. But if you are able to present the data to them, in a way that they are able to understand, they are able to relate to, forget about it. They are going to use the data and it's going to cause impact on their production, their yield, their profitability, and their livelihood. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Good. Let's move on. I okay. Uh, okay. I've got a notification that we have less time, some few minutes to wrap up the class. What are some of the challenges related to collection of data in creating AI solution for farmers? Well, the number one challenge is a challenge, but it's just reality that if you collect whack data, you are going to you are going to get whack results, no matter your artificial intelligence, right? So if you don't collect your data rightly, you agree with me, right, Abigail? So it's important for us to know how to collect this data. What are the things to look for? What are the things to put in place to have a successful data collection that will be useful? Okay, so not every raw fact, which we call data, is useful. So you need to collect data that will be useful, and help us to get the right insight. So I think that looks like a challenge and a reality check. I think that's the major thing. Yeah. So that will determine the kind of sensors that you are using, how you use the sensor, when to do it, and all that. So yeah, thank you, Abigail. Do we have further questions? Oh my. Oh, Azan Jalo. Okay. Yeah. Hello. My appreciation for the insightful information. My question is, if a farmer has resources to procure the sprayer drone alone, is it a must that he should procure another drone for data collection, or he or she needs to buy different types of sensors to use? Oh my God, this is a complex question. And it's not complex, it's a simple one. I mean, my answer, I have a lot of response, but it's a simple way. Um, like I said the other time, the drones okay, I would say this, depending on what you want to achieve. So the latest agricultural drones that we have now, the T25, the T50, they are able to map also. They are able to map the field, and you are also able to do spot spraying or 3D flight planning. They have that because they have on board camera, an RGB camera, high resolution, about 12 megapixel, right? And because they don't fly so high, they fly. I mean, the Lego limit for agricultural drone is 30 meters. So they are able to fly at that height, and you can be able to map, just like I showed you the other time. And that map is then processed on that same controller, and you are able to um, you are able to you are able to do 3D flight planning or spot spraying or whatever autonomous operation that you want to do. So yeah, but in a case where you want to first you want to do variable rate application, and as informed by multispectral data set, which is um, your NIR bands and all of this, right, to generate NDVI, NDRE, and all that information, right? So this going into crop health monitoring, you would need to get a multispectral sensor, right? So you have multispectral sensor and drone, but there are drone like the N3M, that the DJI Mavic 3 multispectral is an integration of multispectral sensor on the drone, right? So you are able to use that drone to map the field, get the multispectral data set, and calculate or get your vegetation indices like NDVI, which then informs your variable rate application in terms of zonating the field or prescription map. That information now imported into your agricultural drone for execution, for application where it is necessary. So you can see the workflow, right? So I would say it depends on what you want to do. But if it's just 3D flight route planning, right? And the limitation with the agricultural drones that we have, and that's because of the computing power on the remote controller. Um, if you are doing a larger feed, right, you might need to first map out with the M3 or another drone entirely that is giving you information on the elevation, on topography, and the spectral information of the field. So yes, but good question. Thank you so much. I hope that's clear. Okay. This we will be handing the class in the next 3 minutes. Okay. Dear recommended spray formula or droplet size for our common crops. Yes, yes. So when you want to use the agricultural drones like this for spraying, right? So there are parameters for you to follow. Yeah, I think that's what you mean by formulas. Parameters, there are application rates, there is height, there is route spacing, there is droplet size, like you mentioned, right? That you use for different applications. Like say the droplet size I will use for herbicide application is different from the droplet size I will use for insecticide spraying on orange tree or on orange plantation, right? So yeah, these are very critical stuff that they are, yeah, good question. They are deeper questions, but I'm not able to cover them up on this in this lecture. So it's more of a practical stuff, and this is what we are going to be looking at in our hands-on class. Ahmad, okay, how many minutes it takes to spray an hectare of land? So this is dependent on the capacity of your drone, but averagely, with the Agras T50, right? Let me show you this drone. The drone like this. Okay, this is T25. This one is a T25. Uh, yeah, it's an Agras T50, a drone like this, which is 40 liters and 50 bit, and it can disperse with the flow rate of 16 to 24 liters per minute. So depending on your application rate, but let's put application rate as 20 liters per hectare. So you should be able to do 1 hectare in less than 10 minutes, right? In less than 10 minutes. So even with one flight, we've recorded with the Agras T50, which on one flight, we recorded about 2.5 to 3, yeah, 3 liters per, 3 hectares per flight. So one flight is typically less than 10 minutes, between 7 to 9 minutes. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Guys, so yeah, thank you so much for your questions. If you have further questions, as we have to wrap up the class now, Joseph, do you have any other information for us? As I wrap up the class, I want to say thank you so much for joining in, everyone who has joined through. Good work. So I want to encourage you to proceed further with your course. This week is fully focused on drones. Drones, although we might have some courses around data science for agriculture and all that, right? So prepare your mind. We have global experts. Yeah, we have global experts. Who are going to deal with various aspects of digital agriculture slash precision agriculture technologies. So thank you so much for joining the class. Joseph, is there any other information you want to pass to the student? Okay, I guess there is no further information. So
All right, thank you everyone for joining. I think all the necessary information I've shared it. So I'll just share the attendance link to the group and the ones for the email. So I'll see you all tomorrow. The information will be communicated. Thank you for joining. Bye for now.